This week on Sci-Fi Buzz, we celebrate our 200th show by time traveling back into Buzz history.
I'm going to make it the best TV show in the history of television.
Roxanne Dawson, the lovely actress beneath the crinkly Klingon forehead. Harlan Ellison finds political correctness incorrect. And the actor who's given up the hit series ER for science fiction.
So, what's new?
Prepare. Stand by. The Buzz.
Movies. Personalities.
Sci-Fi. FX.
Behind the scenes.
Cutting edge. Get ready.
Sci-Fi.
Buzz. Cheers to you and to us, Mike Jerk here in Sci-Fi Central. We are celebrating our 200th episode of Sci-Fi Buzz. And we have some special guests coming by later. We have a big cake. It was gorgeous, by the way. A lot of memories to share with all of you, and some bubbly. Yeah. This is, of course, apple juice. No, 200 episodes is quite a milestone in television. A lot of shows don't make it past 2 or 3 or like 13 episodes. True?
Absolutely.
We've done it. It's a perfect age for the Sci-Fi Channel and a perfect time for our new series, Sci-Fi Buzz. I'm Mike Jarek.
Sci-Fi Buzz has many misty memories of the way we were. That's because our first 2 seasons, we used a fog machine. Our cameraman thought it would give the set an eerie look. When we stopped using it, everybody's asthma cleared up. Well, since those hazy days, we've traveled the universe to find a cornucopia of captivating stories.
Are you getting more comfortable with the publicity and the recognition?
I'm just not that outgoing to begin with, and now suddenly to have to be responsive to lots of strangers is even more difficult.
Because Star Trek has played such a mammoth role in the explosion of sci-fi entertainment, we've spent a good deal of time trekking. We've buzzed with the big stars of all the Trek shows, from the original series to Deep Space Nine.
When I was a kid, we played Star Trek, and I'm totally serious. I don't remember the kid's last name, but his first name was Grant. He was always Captain Kirk, and I was the alien.
Think it's foolish?
I have no opinion, actually.
We were there from day one of the X-Files. So we got the scoop on how the pressures of overnight fame dramatically changed the lives of Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny.
I appreciate, everybody that likes the show. However, I work really hard on the show, and sometimes you want to relax. And one person coming up and saying, hi, I like your work, that's one thing. But if you multiply that by, 150, then your day is shot.
We also buzzed straight to the source to find out how sudden stardom had affected Lucy Lawless, a.k.a. Xena, Warrior Princess, and Kevin Sorbo of Hercules, The Legendary Journeys.
Has this happened yet where guys come up to you and say, yeah, I can kick your ass?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
And could they?
Certainly. I'm sure they probably could. It's funny. I've had it happen more in New Zealand than I've had it happen here. But I think New Zealand, the Kiwis and the Australians kind of have this, oh, yeah, macho thing about them. And they, oh, you're Hercules, eh? You think you're Hercules in your dreams? You're Hercules in real life.
The fact is that you work such long hours. I fear that I will get old really quickly. If I work at this level for too many years, it's just going to wear me out.
But in 200 shows, we've covered a lot more than just sci-fi, fantasy, and horror on the small screen. We've hung with the high and mighty of genre movies, too.
Every time I do a stunt, it is a scary thing to do. I have to admit that. I cannot tell you that it is all a piece of cake.
Hi, I'm Armando Creeper. This is Mother, and welcome to Fangoria's Weekends of Horrors.
While we love mingling with celebrities in Hollywood, we've had some of the best times on the road at the many colorful conventions we've visited. Among them, the famous Monsters of Filmland Con, the Mad Model Party, the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, World Science Fiction Conventions, Godzilla Con, and Dracula 97, marking the Count's 100th anniversary.
So this is my total life. There's not a thing you can find in here that doesn't go back to when I was 3, certain books when I was 3, magic sets that I used when I was 10 years old.
In 5 years of Sci-Fi Buzz, we've been honored to meet the top genre authors of our time, including Anne Rice, Clive Barker, William Gibson, Orson Scott Card, and the late Robert Bloch. Without a doubt, the most unusual writer we ran into was horror scribe Poppy Z. Bright.
Now, I've heard you've done some blood drinking.
I haven't like saved huge quantities in bottles and used it as a cocktail, but no, I've drunk blood out of people's cuts.
Of course, our regular commentator, Harlan Ellison, has given us an endless supply of unforgettable moments.
You see what happens, how sweet I can be? But if you get on my wrong side, I know where you live. I will come to your house, and I will nail your pet's head to a coffee table.
We've caught up with the premier talents in a number of fields, whether it's legendary DC comic book editor Julie Schwartz, anime pioneer Noboru Ishiguro, or the world's foremost model sculptor Randy Bowen.
But how long can you go without wanting to get back to the models?
Oh, I'm constantly. My hands are always busy doing either drawing or painting or something.
And let's not forget the amusing parade of, well, characters we've encountered. From alleged alien abductees to the most fanatical hardcore fans. Ah, memories pressed between the pages of my mind.
Hey, this is sort of appropriate for our 200th show, Mike. This
What do you mean?
Marion Davis, she's written to ask, what was your favorite Buzz interview?
Now, I know what you're all going to think and think I'm going to say, but no. I mean, people like Arthur C. Clarke.
You never interviewed him.
Oh, no?
No.
Well, I mean, people of his ilk,
Yeah,
basically.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay, it was the Scream Queens.
Yeah.
It was the Scream Queens. They were fabulous. Here's a little taste. Could you just give me just one tease? Come on,
We glimpsed the beauty behind the rough Klingonese exterior, actress Roxanne Dawson. After these unexplained phenomena.
My name is Scott Rosema. I'd like to recommend that the newest Space Ghost comic book that has arrived from Archie Comics is probably one of the most exciting things to come out in superhero comics in a long time, since he's such a great cartoon character. He's only seen print a few times in the last 30 years, and Archie Comics has done a great job in producing the comic book and being faithful to the material. And I think it's a great addition to anybody's collection, and especially to Space Ghost fans.
Hey, bud.
This is an active power system. It must have been built by the colonists.
We'll send somebody down here to study it more closely. Right now, we've got to get you back to the ship.
No, this is my discovery. It's my mission.
After 200 Sci-Fi Buzz shows, I do have a favorite interview. It's Roxanne Dawson, the actress who plays the half-human, half-Klingon engineer on Star Trek Voyager. Under that alien facade, I found a beautiful, fun-loving woman who credits a lot of her success to her makeup artists.
I'm very dependent on them because I come in the morning and I don't look at all like this, and they kind of do me up. And this is really, they create the character for me. I sort of step into the role, but I couldn't do it without having this.
So is the makeup all above the eyebrows then?
These are stuck on too. These are not my eyebrows. This is not me. This is not me. And all of this, starting from about here down, is me.
Do people come up and recognize you yet?
I was recognized at a car wash, and it's interesting. I was wearing a ball cap, so only this part of my face was showing, and somebody recognized me, which I thought most people wear ball caps so that they won't be recognized. I think that it's the only way I could be, because finally only this part of my face is showing, so it sort of makes sense.
Let me go down to the planet. There must be some evidence left of what really happened. Maybe there are other people like Karenna who might be willing to tell the truth.
Physical appearance is not the only thing that distinguishes Roxanne from her character. While B'Elanna may want to partake in intergalactic flights, Roxanne is content to enjoy the technological wonder of the internet.
So do you spend a lot of time on the World Wide Web?
I really enjoy sort of surfing that net and kind of finding out all these things, knowledge, experience, all of this. It's an incredible thing. I actually stand in front of my computer with my jaw dropped because I still can't believe you can do all the things that you can.
Have you ever checked out the Star Trek sites?
I have been known to do so.
And check up on, like, what the fans are saying about you?
I have been known to do so.
Do you ever pretend to be somebody else and then ask about your character?
No, I have not done that.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That would support our theory about what happened aboard their ship. We think that their main power conduits were overloaded by a massive electromechanical discharge.
Do you like speaking Klingon?
Well, the convenient thing about B'Elanna is that she's only half Klingon, and she detests her Klingon side, or is at least trying to come to terms with it. Therefore, she doesn't speak much Klingon. So I have a couple of words. Petach, for example. Stupid human.
Now, why would you choose that phrase looking at me?
It just came to my mind.
Captain Harry, let's go!
Hold on, my minute isn't up yet.
Roxanne says that when she first joined the cast of Voyager, she couldn't tell a Klingon from a Romulan. But now, with nearly 3 years under her belt, the actress is well aware of her character's heritage and is proud to be part of the Star Trek tradition.
A lot of the sci-fi that's going on today talks about the future, but that doesn't really have a vision. This has had a vision since its inception. And the most exciting thing about it is that a lot of that has come true. And I think that people are realizing that, and that's why more people are jumping on the bandwagon, because I feel that this show has predicted a lot of things that can and will happen, and it's exciting.
Next, a major sci-fi fan leads the cast of ER to pursue his passion. And Harlan Ellison locks and loads.
In honor of our 200th episode here on Sci-Fi Buzz, some very special guests have come by Sci-Fi Central. Some of the other stars of the Sci-Fi Channel, the guys from MST3K. And
Other stars? Where? Where are
you guys.
Us, of course.
In fact, we're in our 200th episode here. How many episodes have you done on the Sci-Fi Channel?
How many have we done?
150,000. We've been on since the Truman administration.
And of course, before that, you were on that some other TV channel.
Yeah.
But nominated for a Cable Ace Award.
Yeah.
And that not for the first time.
It's kind of like the hardware award of entertainment awards. It's, you know, it's at the lower echelon, but there
like
we are.
being in the Insurance Hall of Fame.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All these different episodes. You know, I look to who the driving force of this particular show is. And
That's me.
Why, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
I was going to ask you, I mean, who do you think is the driving force of your program?
Bob Keeshan, actually.
Absolutely.
Bob Saget.
Now, we have some cake for you guys a little bit later on, but
Let's go.
we're trying to... No,
yet.
Because the whole staff is going to enjoy the cake, so take it a little bit easier. But thank you all for coming in and sharing our 200th anniversary.
Thank you.
So no
Congratulations.
Keep it on for another 200 years, certainly.
Okay, cake now? Cake now? Cake?
Take
No.
it easy. Take it
No.
easy.
Okay, let's say you're a cast member in the #1 rated show on network television. Would you give it all up for a chance to act in an unknown and unconventional sci-fi drama about people with bizarre nightmares? That's precisely what Abraham Ben-Ruby did. The 6'7" actor left the award-winning NBC series ER to co-star in the unproven Sleepwalkers. So why did he do it?
I don't know. No, because this is more in my realm. I mean, I'm a science fiction and fantasy fan from childhood, and this fits in that genre loosely. And I think the show has great potential.
The Indiana native grew up with no siblings and parents who divorced when he was just 6. Science fiction and his imagination provided a form of escape for him throughout his childhood.
I remember learning to read from reading Spider-Man, and that sort of led into other comic books, which led into, and I remember my mom reading me The Hobbit when I was a very young kid, and that led into reading fantasy, and then Star Wars and Star Trek were very influential on everything I do, and both led to me reading other great works of sci-fi and fantasy.
Come out of the dream any faster, you'd be looking at permanent cortical damage. Is a little caution out of the question?
Acting has given Ben-Ruby a chance to live out many of his childhood fantasy adventures.
We're going to work now. We're going to act. In all my acting, that's the case. But especially here, yeah. I got to say, he's trapped in the mind of a dying man, and, you know, only a kid would really come up with a concept like that.
Away from the set, Abe remains a major fan of the sci-fi genre. He still enjoys reading comics and fancies himself as a bit of a sci-fi collector.
I am a collector, but I'm not such a serious collector. Like some guys you see have like original movie props from Flash Gordon back in the day, and I unfortunately have not gotten to that level yet. I still collect modern releases of action figures and books and prints and movies, and so I enjoy collecting it, but it's more about the experiencing of the stories for me than the physical holding of the collectible object.
Hey, Vince Konefsky, polysomnograph technician. This all looks complicated, but to a pilot? Well, we all have our arenas of expertise.
Unfortunately, NBC recently pulled the plug on Sleepwalkers after airing just 2 episodes. So for now, Abe Ben-Ruby's dream of acting in a sci-fi series is on hold.
That's what I always wanted to do. It's why I became an actor, you know, to, you know, not to be famous or make a bunch of money, but to save the world, you know, and only in something as grand as, that has as grand a scale as this do you get to do that. Play big and weird fantasy things and react to things that aren't really there, and it's fun.
Hi, my name is Tony from Salem, Massachusetts. I recently picked up a copy of Starfleet Academy by Interplay, and it is by far the best Star Trek computer game I have ever played. If you've ever wanted to actually go to the tactical station and set the phaser power, or do the lock on to a certain weapon, or go to the engineering and change the damage control protocols or the energy settings, this is the game for you. And the best part is, in between the missions, you have scenes and you have to interact with the greats like Chekhov, Sulu, and even Captain James T. Kirk, played by the original actors from the original series. So if you get a chance, go out and get Starfleet Academy from Interplay. It rules.
After scores and scores of commentaries, Harlan Ellison's commentary from 5 years ago still sticks in my mind. I'm going to take you back 5 years for this memory. It was back when politically correct was just starting to become, well, in vogue. So here's Harlan Ellison being politically correct.
Times is tough for writers. You just don't know how it is. In addition to having a steadily more illiterate audience every year, I mean, that is to say, people who don't read books, people who have forgotten the past to the extent that nostalgia becomes what they had for breakfast, we have this thing called political correctness. Now, in the world of science fiction, writers have to pay attention to what's going on around them, because science fiction is the only 100% hopeful fiction. That is to say, inherent in the form is, there will be a tomorrow. If you read a science fiction story, it says, this will happen tomorrow. Now, that's very positive. It's very pragmatic. We'll be here tomorrow. We may be unhappy. We may be all living like maggots, but we'll be here. So that means it's 100% positive. Artistic freedom, thus, becomes something that might be a little troublesome, because we deal in allegory, because we deal in the ideas that are not exactly what they are today, but they seem to be about something that we know today, and yet they're tomorrow's idea. The Jesse Helmses of the world, the Phyllis Schlaflys of the world, the Pat Buchanans of the world, the skinheads of the world find science fiction very, very, very troubling. And they want you to be politically correct. That is to say, you are not allowed to insult anyone. You can't have a character who's an unpleasant woman. You can't have an unpleasant person who has a deformity. Everybody has to be terrific. Let me tell you a story. This truly happened. A few years ago, I got a letter. I get a lot of mail. As a writer of Matters Fantastic and as a critic of the field, I get a lot of mail. And they're filled with opinions. Everybody has opinions. I have them, you have them. And we are all told from the moment we open our eyes that everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. Well, that's horsepucky, of course. We are not entitled to our opinions. We are entitled to our informed opinions. Without research, without background, without understanding, it's nothing. It's just bibble-babble. It's like a wind tunnel, folks. So I get opinions. And I get a letter one day from a guy, we'll call him Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson says, you are always writing stories in which midgets are villains. Now, footnote here. When you get one of these letters, they don't say something rational like, in this story you did it, or that story you did it. It's always, you always did it. So I went back through 1,100 published stories. I found 2 stories with midgets in them. One of them was the hero. So this guy writes me and he says, I am 3 foot tall and we don't like being called midgets. We like being called little people. Well, I thought about this letter for a while, this political correctness being a problem, and I really am concerned about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and finally I wrote him back a letter and I said, Dear Mr. Johnson, I am 5'5". I'm a little person. You're a midget.
I know the guys want to eat some cake, so let's bring the cake. Staff, could you bring the cake?
Ah, cake. Oh no.
Okay, what's
You
happening?
guys.
What's
Man, that was good. Amaretto, cappuccino, hazelnut frosting. Nothing. It's pudding from another.
You want cake? Here's cake.
Oh, God.
You want cake? Eat your cake and get out of here.
I will.
Thanks for coming by. Thank you. See you next week, everybody.
Anybody have a Zantac?
Get ready for the invasion of the Neptune Men when Mystery Science Theater 3000 rockets your way today at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now torn from the pages of your imagination, Amazing Stories is next on the Sci-Fi Channel.